Good morning, Sir Pimento. Good morning, classmates. So I am tasked to report about organizational silence, a barrier to change and development in a pluralistic world under the culture in organization. So supposed to be, magre-report sana ako live virtually sa ating class. Kaso lang, unfortunately, today is my indoctrination um, for the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary as a reservist for Philippine Coast Guard. So I asked Sir Pimentel if somehow paano yung gagawin ko about sa report, and then he suggested that pwede naman siguro i-record na lang yung report and then have it played by my commanders. So I have to take this opportunity to thank Sir Pimentel for allowing me to do that, and then I am also asking for your consideration, classmates, because gusto ko sana naman talaga na mag-report live sa virtual natin, pero I because of my schedule for the Philippine Coast Guard, hindi po talaga kasi whole day whole day event. So I cannot hold my cell phone for the whole day. Um, Kahit na recorded yung report ko, I will try to report my topic as comprehensive as can be. Organizational silence is a potentially dangerous impediment to organizational change and development, and is likely to pose a significant obstacle to the development of truly pluralistic organization. A pluralistic organization can be defined as one that values and reflects differences among employees and that allows for the expression of multiple perspectives and opinions. So pag sinabi natin na pluralistic organization, diverse ang mga tao or ang mga tao na within that organization. And with that, the organization values and reflects that those differences among employees. So there are two factors in the development of organizational silence. One is the manager's fear of negative feedback, and two, a set of implicit belief often held by the managers. So to discuss the two major factors in the development of organizational silence, I have here three objectives, learning objectives. One is to explain the factors, the two major factors, paying particular attention to the role of managerial belief. Second, discuss the condition under which these beliefs are most likely to be held by the senior management. And the third, discuss how managerial belief and fear of feedback tend to give rise to predictable types of organizational structures and policies, as well as to managerial practices that impede the upward flow of information. So one major factors in the development of organizational silence is the manager's fear of negative feedback. So one important factor that facilitates the creation of a climate of silence in organization is a top manager's fear of receiving negative feedback, especially from the subordinates. Common po 'to sa mga agency 'no, lalo na sa amin na pag for example yung mga top management namin or sa administration, nakakarinig sila ng mga negative feedback, especially sa mga subordinates. Usually ang tendency o response ng top management sa mga subordinates is negative din. Pero maiiwasan sana yung ganitong instances pag yung top management sana is parang ina-analyze naman sana yung negative feedback, whether it is a truly a negative feedback, or pwede din kasi nga yung negative feedback, pwede din kasi yung constructive feedback din kasi eh. Kasi yung constructive feedback, pwede mo naman gamitin yun to at least kahit papaano to modify the process that is being implemented within that organization. Kasi yung mga subordinates, sila kasi yung humaharap talaga, sila yung mga frontliners, alam nila yung nangyayari sa field. Yung mga top managers naman kasi, nagre-rely lang sila minsan sa mga reports na ipinapasa sa kanila, usually sa mga agency, lalo na sa mga government agency, yung mga reports po, halos po lahat, hindi ko naman generalize pero halos lahat naman po ng report is sugar-coated. Parang yung sa mga low-level organizations, parang parang pinapaganda na nila yung mga outputs ng mga reports nila para pagdating sa top management is parang okay na tingnan. So, yun nagkakaroon din ng gap or nagkakaroon din ng tinatawag din natin na organizational silence, especially pag yung mga top management natin is yung response nila sa negative feedback na nare-receive nila is a negative response din. So there is a strong evidence that people often feel threatened by negative feedback, whether this information is about them personally and about a course of action with which they identify. Usually kasi yung mga negative feedback na nare-receive ng mga top management is yung mga feedback regarding doon sa mga action or course of action na in-implement nila within that organization. Minsan kasi may mga subordinates na hindi sang-ayon dun sa mga action or sa mga plans na in-implement within that organization. And worst, minsan yung mga subordinates ina nag inaatake din nila yung mga top management natin personally, yung hindi na siya related sa work, in a personal basis na po. So minsan pag yung 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 negative feedback naman about sa course of action, pwede naman ng kahit paano mapag-usapan. Pero pag yung negative feedback naman in terms of personal matters na or personal ano na po ng mga top management, yun nagkakaroon talaga ng problema. Parang yung response na po ng mga managers dun sa naririnig nilang feedback personally, ay na personal basis po nila, is parang negative na rin po yung response. So therefore, people try to avoid receiving negative feedback, and when they do receive it, they may try to ignore the message. So ito na lang yung usually ginagawa ng mga top managers pag may nare-receive silang negative feedback, ina-ignore na lang nila yung message or dinidismiss nila as inaccurate or hindi totoo. And the worst, minsan yung worst scenario is they attack the credibility of the source. So minsan ito yung pinaka um, worst na response ng ng managers na inatake na yung credibility ng source. And with that, yun kasi nila, pag na-tarnish na yung credibility ng source, maaaring yung mga sinasabi ng source na yun is hindi na rin accurate. Parang pag hindi na maganda yung credibility ng source, ibig sabihin, yung mga sinasabi ng source is parang ano lang din yun, parang hindi totoo or gawa-gawa na lang. So yun yung mga usually na response na binibigay ng mga managers sa mga negative feedback na nare-receive nila. Another major factor in the development of organizational silence is a set of implicit belief often held by the managers. Another important factor that lies at the root of organizational silence is a set of beliefs that managers often implicitly hold about employees and about the nature of management. So one such belief is that employees are self-interested and untrustworthy. So minsan, yung may mga beliefs na yung mga managers about sa empleyado nila regarding sa mga sa trust issues. For example, minsan ang mga managers parang tinitingnan nila yung mga employees nila na self-interested lang or ibig sabihin parang yung interest lang ng empleyado yung iniisip niya, hindi niya iniisip yung interest or yung yung kahinatnan or yung interest ah, ng organization as a whole. At minsan din sinasabi din na naniniwala yung mga managers na untrustworthy yung um, mga empleyado, especially sa mga issues regarding dun sa organization na tingin ng mga managers is dapat um, ah, hindi nalalabas doon sa organization nila. Kasi minsan kasi natatakot yung mga managers na kung for example kung ano yung mga naririnig nila or nakikita ng mga empleyado nila sa loob ng organization, parang wala silang tiwala dun sa mga subordinates nila at minsan natatakot sila na baka lumabas yung mga issue sa sa minsan sa mga social media or sa mga ibang channels na ah, na ginagamit ng um, mga subordinates or mga empleyado. So first, unstated belief na pinapaniwalaan ng manager is that managers believe employees are self-interested and untrustworthy. Like dun sa in-explain ko kanina, medyo nagkakaroon ng trust issues yung mga managers nila against sa mga subordinates nila. And they will then act in ways that implicitly and explicitly discourage upward communications. So, ang tendency, yung mga managers nila, um, parang nag-implement na lang sila ng ways that discourage upward communication. For example, pag may mga um, pag may mga reports or may mga communications na gustong iparating ng mga subordinates sa mga top level management natin, parang hindi na lang nila binibigyan ng priority or hindi na binibigyan ng importance yung mga communications or mga feedbacks na nanggagaling sa mga subordinates nila. Kasi nga, wala na silang tiwala dun sa mga subordinates and that yung mga outputs nila or mga reports nila na for example um, pinapasa or sinasubmit ng mga subordinates is parang hindi na confident yung mga top level managers natin sa mga reports na pina-file or binibigay or sinasubmit sa kanila. So, second unstated belief that often held by managers is that management knows best about most issues of organizational importance. So, according to Glauser, he notes that the pervasiveness of the belief that manager must direct and control while subordinates must assume the role of unquestioning followers. So Argyris similarly notes that most managers believe they must appear to be unilateral control and reading points to the implicit belief among managers that hard hands should put up or shut up. So sabi dito, tinitingnan ng management that most issues of the organizational importance is mas alam nila kung paano ita-tackle or mas alam nila kung paano nila i-solve yung mga issues regarding sa mga uh, organization. And with that, sabi ni, according to Glauser, sabi niya that the belief of managers is to direct and control, and subordinates is to assume the role of unquestioning followers. So, dapat, sabi ni, according to Glauser, um, dapat yung mga subordinates ng isang organization is to submit themselves to whatever is being implemented or being uh, the plan that being implemented by the managers in the organization. And according to Argyris, sabi niya that managers must appear is as a unilateral control of an organization. So, ibig sabihin, ang managers dapat po yung nagko-control ng mga processes or mga plans or mga policies na ini-implement within that organization. And also, reading points to the implicit belief among the managers that higher hands should put up or shut up. The third unstated belief that we regard as a factor of creating climate conducive to widespread silence is the belief that unity, agreement, and consensus are signs of organizational health, whereas disagreement and dissent should be avoided. So according to Burrell and Morgan, they describe this belief as part of the unitary view of organization, which stands in stark contrast to the pluralistic view, in which dissent is regarded as a normal and conflict as potentially healthy. The prevalence of the unity view of organization also has been noted in discussion of group decision making, strategic formulation, and innovation. So those beliefs, that those three beliefs, there are conditions for studying it. So number one, the managerial beliefs contributing to organizational silence will be more common in organizations in which the top management team is dominated by individuals with economic or financial backgrounds. So dito, sinasabi na pag meron kang economic or financial background, mas may control ka, kaya nagkakaroon ng ng ganong belief within that organization. Second, the longer the average tenure of top management team members, the stronger will be the relationship between top management team homogeneity with respect to functional background and the set of beliefs contributing to science. So sa number one, sinasabi dito na one of the conditions for studying those three beliefs is the economic or financial background. Sa number two naman, dito binibigyan pansin yung conditions na nagfa-foster ng beliefs is the tinatawag natin na seniority. Minsan may mga managers or mga members ng mga top management na pag medyo matagal na within that organization, meron na silang sense of authority or mas habang tumatagal or mas magkakaroon na ng mas mahabang tenure ng sa kanilang positions, mas nagkakaroon sila ng tinatawag natin na authority. So another conditions for studying those three beliefs that managerial beliefs contributing to organizational silence will be more common in organizations in which the top management team is dominated by individuals from high power distance and collectivistic cultures. So dito, sinasabi dito na um, fino-foster yung um, yung mga conditions na nagfo-foster ng mga tatang beliefs na yun is that pag ang members ng top management team is galing sa mga influential people. Pag ganon, pag influential people na sila, meron na silang tinatawag na natin na connections. So mas naboboost yung mga beliefs nila regarding dun sa sarili nila and then sa mga subordinates na hinahawakan nila. Fourth is the managerial beliefs contributing to organizational silence will be more common when there is a high level of dissimilarity. Examples is gender, race, ethnicity, age between top management and lower level employees. So dito pini-perceive nila na yung gender is may malaking influence dun sa mga belief na pinapaniwalaan ng mga top managers. For example, 'pag lalaki ka, mas dominante kaysa sa mga babae. So usually 'pag um, yung 'pag yun ang paniniwala ng isang member o sa isang manager sa isang top management na pag lalaki siya, minsan tinitingnan niya sarili niya as superior than um, mga subordinates niya. Usually, lalo na pag yung mga subordinates niya is yung mga babae, so doon nagkakaroon ng problema in terms of the gender. Another is ang race and ethnicity. Usually, dito nangyayari yung tinatawag natin na racism. For example, sa mga American companies, um, usually yung mga white people, yun yung mga nagdo-dominate sa mga top level positions, and then yung mga medyo dark or mga dark people or yung mga dark American or black American, parang piniperceive ng mga white people na dapat sa mga mababang positions lang sa isang organizations. And dito din sa Pilipinas, pag for example, pag yung treatment ng mga nakapag-aral sa mga hindi nakapag-aral, parang yun din yung mga conditions na nagpo-foster ng mga ganong beliefs. Another is tinatawag natin yung yung age ng ng mga mga empleyado or mga managers sa top management. Minsan yung edad ng isang empleyado, for example, 'pag medyo um, medyo may edad na yung isang empleyado, mas lalo siyang nagkakaroon ng authority na dun sa mga medyo bata pa, yung nasa mga entry level na mga jobs na mga empleyado. Another is the manager believes contributing to organizational silence will be more common in an organization with strategic focus on cost control and in organizations operating in low munificence environment. And another believes contributing to organizational silence will be more common in organizations operating in mature and stable industries. Dito sinasabi na pag ang isang organization or isang company is medyo medyo stable na or medyo well established na mga companies, mas nagkakaroon ng mas malaki ang tsansa na pagkakaroon na ng organizational silence. Another condition is that uh, an organization that hires a senior level managers from outsides rather than promote from within. So dito, pag ang mga empleyado is nakakaroon na ng mga managers na galing sa labas or sa ibang company, tinitingnan ng mga empleyado yung manager na yun as an outsider, and parang nagkakaroon pa rin ng um, ng trust issues din between the manager and the subordinate. And with that, parang yung channel of communication between the newly hired manager from outside and the employees within that organization is parang may blockage pa yung channel of communication na, and it would result na sa tinatawag na natin na organizational silence. So another is the manager believes contributing to organizational silence will be more common in organizations that rely heavily on contingent workers. Effects of organizational silence on organizational decision making and change processes. So we have two. Number one, organizational silence will compromise the effectiveness of organizational decision making and change processes by restricting the variance and informational input available to decision makers. So dito, pag kanina sa diniscuss natin sa mga conditions considering the organization silence, pag wala ng tiwala yung top management dun sa mga subordinates nila, nagkakaroon na ng stoppage or blockage sa flow of information from the subordinates to the top level management. Pag wala na yung informational input na yon sa mga decision makers, nagkakaroon na yun ng problema in terms of organizational decision making and change processes. Kasi yung mga decision makers, nagre-rely heavily dun sa mga reports na sinasubmit ng mga subordinates nila, lalo na yung mga empleyado na-assign dun sa operation mismo. So pag wala yung mga informational input na yun, na hindi siya available sa mga decision makers, malaki po yung impact nun sa mga decision making and change processes ng top level management. Another is organizational silence likely to compromise effective organizational change and development is by blocking negative feedback and hence an organization's ability to detect and correct errors. So like dun kanina sa diniscuss ko, yung negative feedback. So meron kasing mga negative feedback naman na tinatawag din natin na constructive feedback. Pero pag once yung top level management is tinitreat nila yung constructive feedback as negative din, parang nawawalan na yung top level management na mga relevant inputs galing dun sa mga empleyado nila, and with that nagkakaroon na yun ng effect dun sa ability ng organizations to detect and correct errors. For example, kung may mali dun sa planning na ginagawa ng top level management, hindi na mako-correct or hindi na mabibigyan ng remedy or corrections base dun sa mga nangyayari sa lower level organization. So the effects of organizational silence in employee cognitions, attitudes, and behaviors. So we have three. So number one, employees' feelings of not being valued. Two, employees' perceived lack of control. And the third, employees' cognitive dissonance. So number one effect is employees' feelings of not being valued. Research on procedural justice has consistently shown that employees evaluate decision procedures more favorably when those procedures allow for employee input, even when this input does not have much impact on decision outcomes. Parang minsan ang pagkakaroon ng organizational silence is nagkakaroon yung feeling na hindi na value yung mga efforts ng mga empleyado, hindi na binibigyan ng importance o hindi na binibigyan ng recognitions ng mga top management. Second effect is employees perceive lack of control. So there is evidence from several sources that individuals have a strong need for control over their immediate environment and over decisions that affect them. Research on procedural justice indicates that important way in which employees gain a sense of control over the environment is by expressing their opinions and preferences. So dito, pag may tinatawag na tayong organizational silence within that organizations, parang nagkakaroon na ng perceived lack of control yung mga empleyado kasi One of important way na na makikita mo may control yung isang empleyado by expressing their opinions and preferences. And with that, pag meron ng organizational pag meron ng organizational silence within that organization, yung opinions nila and or preferences na hindi na binavalue, parang nagkakaroon na ng lack of control ng empleyado dahil wala na halos parang wala na silang tinatawag natin na authority. Another effect of organizational silence in employee cognitions, attitudes, and behavior is the employee's cognitive dissonance. Organizational silence is also likely to give rise to cognitive dissonance, an aversive state that arises when there is a discrepancy between one's belief and one's behaviors. Individuals experiencing dissonance are typically motivated to try to restore consistency by changing either their beliefs or their behavior. Yet, in the context of organizational silence, it may be very difficult for employees to reduce dissonance.